Saying he's sick and tired of the evasion and obstruction from the Obama administration, House Speaker John Boehner announced that he's appointing a select committee to investigate the attacks. Meanwhile, Texas Congressman Michael Burgess has introduced a bill that would award $5 million to anybody who could provide information regarding the attacks in Benghazi. Congressman Burgess joins me now. Congressman, nice to have you with me and appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me on.
Last year, you and Congressman Frank Wolf were among others who sponsored a piece of legislation that would have called for the select committee. We're finally getting around to it. The Speaker now says, okay, we're going to appoint one. Should we have done this before?
Well, obviously, I thought so, and I agreed with Chairman Wolf on this. You know, Governor, it's not that people haven't done work, they have, but it's kind of like you got 5 fingers with no palm. You can't get a grasp. You can't get a purchase on anything because where one committee's jurisdiction runs out, others may pick up, but you don't always have that continuity. So the continuity is now something that will be provided. And I got to tell you, this has been a heavy burden to carry. That is why we are not proceeding with this investigation. Everywhere I go, in Texas or otherwise, I have to answer that question. For the first time yesterday, I felt like I no longer had to answer that question. That was, well, let's get to the facts.
I want you to help walk our audience through the process of a select committee. What's different about a select committee versus the regular sitting committees like government oversight? And then the process itself. How does it get appointed? Who sits on that committee? What happens? Walk our audience through that for us.
Well, Frank, we'll be specific about the makeup of the select committee, and I don't know if they'll actually follow, if we'll pass House Resolution 36 that Frank Wolf introduced. But it is a select committee. That means the Speaker will select the members of the committee. Mr. Wolf had recommended they be drawn from the 5 committees of jurisdiction, Republican and Democrat. But the fact of the matter is the Speaker has a jurisdiction. He may want to bring someone from outside to function in a special role. I'm okay with that as well. I just want the answers. I want some peace for these families.
So is there a difference, though, between the select committee? Obviously, they're able to look at anything. Are they limited in any way as to what they can ask for, unlike, let's say, the Judiciary Committee or the Intelligence Committee? Can they go anywhere they want to go in the investigation?
Well, that will be defined in the legislation that passes, but if you want to do it right, you'll have to give them pretty much a free rein. And you know, Governor, I would just underscore the House committees that have looked at this. I mean, a lot of the work has already been done. The Senate Intelligence Committee in January put out a report. Yes, it was redacted, but it was pretty thorough. Even the redacted portion was pretty thorough. So a lot of the work has been done, and in fact, in some cases, it's just pulling some things together or running down some leads that were stopped because of jurisdictional issues. You have to have the subpoena power. I also would like to see whoever is in charge able to bring charges directly in federal court and not go through the Attorney General.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because the Attorney General is never going to file anything against somebody in the Obama administration. Will this committee have the power to subpoena Hillary Clinton, even though she's no longer the Secretary of State? Can they compel her to provide testimony?
Well, you do get into some legal issues there, but for the life of me, I can't believe that she would not want to come before the committee if asked and be forthcoming. I mean, she was the one who came to a classified briefing that we had shortly after this all happened and said, I want to get to the bottom of it. The Accountability Review Board will be thorough, it will be ruthless, and it will get to the bottom of it. The Accountability Review Board didn't find anything and held no one accountable. So I think she would want to be true to her word, and for that reason should not have to be compelled to come testify. I think she should volunteer.
Well, I think she should, and I hope she will. What about Benghazi survivors, Congressman? Will they finally be able to come forward and tell their stories? They've pretty much been deep six through this whole investigation.
Well, and that's right. And actually, for some of those individuals, they actually need a subpoena because otherwise they can't come forward and testify because of the nature of the work that they were doing on the ground and in other countries. So, yes, I think finally we're going to be able to cut through some of that, some of those blocking issues and bring forth the people that actually can provide the information. And, you know, let's remember there were diplomatic security people on the ground, but DOD had security people on the ground that night as well. There were 3 attacks over 7 to 8 hours. You know, that whole business of we knew we didn't have time to get there. You didn't know how long it was going to last. Please, will someone explain that fact to the American people, because I struggle with that every night.
Congressman, thanks for joining us. I appreciate your insight into the process. I think a lot of people have heard these terms. You've helped make it a lot clearer. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Governor.
Well, there are new developments in the case of Justina Pelletier. We're going to talk to Justina's sister in just a moment. Plus, the commissioner of Massachusetts Department of Children and Families resigns. Details coming up.